Little Ham says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the E-Tims podcast. My name is Desi, and I am very glad to say we are looking at a potential full house tonight. So I am very glad to introduce the pilot of the Tarrier Carrier, Ralph Malf. Good evening, Ralph.
Evening, how you doing?
I'm fine, apart from the fact that you've got that phone at a very dodgy angle, but the listeners have managed to avoid that fate, so that's good. So thank you for joining us, Ralph. The chortle you can hear in the top corner is Karen, possibly happy Celtic lass. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Still not so happy at the moment, but
yeah, well, it's a mixed bag. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
We'll come to all of those reasons why. But and then the bottom corner, I am looking at Jens Bertal Askow. Good evening, Jens. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on. You're the spitting image of Hector Bandido, who normally comes on here.
He's a very handsome man, just like myself.
Jens you know more about tactics than he does.
Jens has now become
more about racism than he does.
Jens has now become Italian during the topic of the conversation.
Okay, lads, Franco Dettori, thanks for joining us. Right, so Monty, thank you, Hector. That was, just in case anyone's wondering, it was not James Bertout. He's called himself that in the chat this evening. And again, we may have time to come to that, but we've got 101 things to discuss because it's been a mad last few weeks since we last chatted. Monty C. Burns may pop up. He's told us 5 minutes, but that usually means 55 minutes with Monty. So we'll see if he does turn up. So thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. Thank you, as always, to everyone for listening, subscribing, sending in your comments, either via the pod, the YouTube, on the site. We'll have another talk about the site. A big shock on the site recently. We'll discuss that soon. But again, so here we are, folks. It is basically the 27th of February. February has flown by, I think, but there's been 1,001 things going on. But before I forget, Ralph, do you have something you would just like to announce before we move on to other subjects?
If I could just say get well soon to Monty, who the regular reader, probably from day one of the diary.
Yep.
Not very well just now, but I believe he's recovering. So all the best to you, big man. And PJ, looking forward to seeing you next month.
Excellent. Thank you. So Monty, especially a stalwart he was always there defending the diary as well as commenting on it. So he's always a great personality. So fingers crossed, feeling better. So thanks very much, Ralph. Just wanted to get out of the way before we start talking our nonsense. All right. So I was making a list of items to discuss tonight, wondering, is there anything to discuss? I put it all on Twitter and the replies made me laugh, and I will take us through those if we get to them. But let's just concentrate on the football, Hector, because you were very.
Do we have to talk about football?
No, you were. I was just going to say you were the guy who was very glad to remind me there of the actual let's just say, fun moments in the football that I'd managed to forget in the madness which has been February. So would you just like to remember them for the listener, George?
All right, okay. Yeah, February was as it always is, funny enough, for 28 days, a quick month, right? But we had a few, can we call them exciting games? I suppose any game that involves a last minute or added time winner, I suppose, falls under exciting, right?
The Celtic way.
The Celtic way, indeed, right? So my memory, because I'm an old fart now, is fading like the rest of these. I'll go back to probably the Livingston game, as far back as that. It's the game when Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was on the bench, and we were 1-0 up after 20 minutes. Actually, being fair, we should have been 5-0 up in 20 minutes. It's probably that 20-minute spell's the best we've played in quite some time. Missed sitter after sitter, their keeper did well. Then you know what's happening next. They get a penalty. Rio, wee bit daft, I think, tried to smash the ball in his penalty box and kick the guy in the leg. The Ox come on 60-odd minutes, didn't he? Didn't really get a touch until added time, and then just took the touch and curled a beauty at the far corner. So that kept us clinging on with, I suppose, our fingertips at that point, fair to say. Is that right? Then we went to Rugby Park that weekend on a high. The Oxford scored. Here we go, right? And
We've turned the corner.
Aye, and we're getting battered after like 25 minutes. And by the way, it was 2-0.
Let's not forget Neil McCann's commando. Neil McCann's commando.
And to be fair, let's say be fair, I don't like saying to be fair to him, but they'd actually got a couple of decent results just before they played us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they battered St Mirren. I know the score was close, but I think overall they battered them. And then they were 2-0, well worth it, they're 2-0 at half time. We had a couple of sniffs, but second, they were thinking, that's it, done, it's done. We get 2 quick goals, and then, what was it? The 200th minute or something, wasn't it?
I think this just happened. It was literally the last 30 seconds ago.
In fact, it's just on the TV there now. It's still going on the now. And to be fair, Big Tam, because I'm not going to try and pronounce his second name, right? He took the ball and turned, and there he was, our Mexican-American right back, ran in and smashed one in the top bin, and the place went mental. And that was just as the Hearts and Rangers game was about to kick off, wasn't it? Ibrox last weekend. So we're huddling with our fingertips. They became our fingernails, be fair to say. Is that right? Our fingernails. And then we had the great moment where we had a home game against Stuttgart. And let's be honest, a European game that really nobody, very few folk wanted. Very few folk. We've spoken about it before, right? And we got it down. And we'll leave it at that. I'm going to move on. Then we played Hibs at home. We were pretty pissed the first half until Hibs scored, and then we raised our game as we do at times. We have to go behind before we start to raise our game a wee bit. Got our goal, half time. I thought we started the second half quite well. I thought the goal was possibly coming. Then we had this corner kick madness, didn't we? With the corner coming in, Big Trusty getting held, and he hit the guy probably a bit harder than normal, but with a red card. Let's put the question this way. If it was a player from, let's say, for example, Rangers that did what Austin Trusty did, would they have been given a red card? It's a rhetorical question, folks, right? But then, literally, he'd been sent off. The next corner kick to come in, Scales is getting his shirt hauled to the ground, and VAR didn't say a peep. Although, interesting enough, the screens in the stadium did say, was it Phil?
Outside.
Was it outside the penalty area? So we've had people saying, oh, by the way, it was Celtic's fault. They put that out, not the VAR guys that did that, which would make sense, as the VAR guys sit in a van outside Ibrox, don't they? That's where the wee studio is, isn't it? So it must have been somebody inside the stadium, and it couldn't have been the fourth official because he's standing next to the managers. So who knows? Anyway, so that was a farce. Hibs scored the last minute. That was coming. We'd been getting last minute winners and sneaking things through, and I think riding my luck a big bit in the league. Hibs beat us. So that took us up to last night. Stuttgart, game was done, but we got a win, and now it's Ibrox on Sunday. So there you are, folks. And 2-minute wrap up of the last few weeks.
Yeah, so that was the podcast night. Thanks very much for everyone joining. Take care. Good night. So there we go. Thank you very much, Hector, for that excellent football roundup. Right, so I am glad to say that Monty has joined us. Good evening, Monty.
Good evening, folks. How's everybody?
Monty's another guy who's adopted a strange camera angle for Karen, Hector and I's benefit, along with Ralph. So I do have Monty loves a quiz, so I do have a quick quiz for Monty now that he's joined. And the question is, what is the most unlikely to happen in recent Celtic history? A Celtic win in Germany, a Celtic loss at home to Hibs, a happy women's Celtic football team fan, Karen, I'm looking at you, a daft Austin Trusty red card, or a Monty article being published on eTim's website.
That's harsh. I did say I felt one coming, didn't
I? Hopefully everyone managed to visit www.etims.net. Usually it's Ralph's diary we are promoting, but Ralph's actually busy pursuing another publishing career at the moment. So it's actually been like Monty has been so frustrated with goings on that he actually put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard. Monty, so I was getting asked in the main stand. People were putting down their prawn sandwiches. A wee nod out to James, who's listening. James was complimenting your article, saying he's enjoyed it. There was a lot of food for thought. So do you want to just kind of quickly go over what you can remember? I know you're sitting drinking red wine at the moment, Monty, but remember from it, because it will tie into the other stuff we have to discuss in it.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things, and firstly, it's very kind of James to be the other person to click on it to read it, because I know Ralph, obviously, he got a bit of grief in the CSC about it too. I think a lot of, and I've actually, believe it or not, because I've obviously clearly had a bit of time on my hands, I've wrote a follow-up as well, but I might just hold it now that you've built me up.
It's like Celtic signings in a transfer window. You wait 32 days for one and then two come along at once.
Fucking pish last minute ramblings as opposed to ones that you wanted early. No, my frustrations, Desi, are, I'm sure, the same as everybody else's, but ultimately, if you look at where we are at a club, and you look at clubs of much lesser resources than us who just do things right and do things well, that's ultimately what it's about. If you look at FC Midtjylland, who horsed us up in Denmark earlier in the season, if you look at Bodo, and they're into the last 16 now, the Champions League. If you just look at simple, there's no rocket science here. If you have a strategy, publish it, and then hold yourself to account to it. I couldn't tell you anything about how Celtic holds itself to account on anything relating to strategy. And that's on the business level as much as the football level. We don't have a football identity anymore. We've talked about that. Are we a horseshoe of death team? Are we an attacking team? Are we a physical team? We're none of that now. We're just a fucking mess. So I think, Desi, my rant, as much as it was, it's a bit like getting savaged by a wet sheep. It's hardly a rant. Just my thought processes and laying it down. Celtic could be so much more, but ultimately it has to be driven by different personalities than an overpaid lawyer and an overpaid accountant in Nicholson and Mackay. I think that was my closing remark on it, Desi. And there's nothing that I've seen since I wrote it to change my mind. Those two boys need to go if we're going to do anything as a club.
You're on mute, Desi.
I actually I put him to sleep.
I shouldn't have said it, should I?
Fucking put him to sleep.
No, because I could hear a bit of feedback, so I put myself on mute. No, it was a very well measured, very well thought out, fact-filled piece. I mean, it wasn't just a rant. I've undersold it there. I had a lot of based very much in hard financial information. And again, we've had a lot of conversations this week. Bodo Glimt have obviously qualified for the last 16, and they've been getting Martin O'Neill's having to field questions and then getting flack for mentioning they've got a plastic pitch and stuff. So it is very relevant. I mean, so we're looking forward to the follow-up, but we've all come on to related subjects on that, right? So moving on just to maybe a little bit of happiness, might be a strong word, Karen, but the last time we spoke, we were waiting on, I think it was the former Hibs manager who's going to join us.
Yep,
who's going to take over the women's team. So how's that been? How's that been for you as an avid follower?
Oh, good signs. We've actually, you can see a shape to the team. You can see what they're trying to do. Very exciting at times going forward. Still a bit dodgy at the back, but even coming out from the back, the way they're playing out from the back is a lot better. It's a lot more forward. It's none of the horseshoe rubbish that we were getting before. So it's a bit more direct. The only thing I would say is we lack a bit of possession-based football at the moment, but they seem to be building a bit of character. If they're losing a goal, they're not panicking. They're a bit more settled. They seem to have a bit more belief in themselves, and they are playing some quite good football. So far, so good. The signings that he's brought in the winter, a couple of loan signings from Man City, one from London Lionesses, and a permanent signing from Man United on a 2.5-year deal, which is the first time we've done that for a wee while. So they've all came in, looked like they've all contributed well to the team. And they all seem to have settled in really well. So we do have still a lot of problems, with our squad size, and that's really going to be tested with the split coming up, because then we're going to midweek games as well, and our squad isn't anywhere near as good as the other teams. But we're only 5 points behind Glasgow City. We're in third place technically because Rangers have won their 2 games against us earlier in the season, and we're a point ahead of Hearts. So we've beat Hearts a couple of times in the league and the cup. We've beat Hibs a couple of times in the league and the cup, and we've drawn with Glasgow City away. So it's been not too bad.
So I'm just hearing between the lines there that you seem quite happy with the Celtic board and how they've supported that guy, Karen.
Well, I'm delighted that he was brought in because I really wanted him. What he did at Hibs was absolutely brilliant, and the way they play football, they were an absolute proper team, and I loved that. And I just felt that's something that you didn't really get. That there was always I don't know, as last year you could tell there was clearly issues, but even this year there was a timidness about the team. It seems to have brought in a bit more confidence to them. I like the fact that Kelly Clark as well is bringing the ball out for the back and playing forward. She's really good at passing the ball, Kelly, and that was taken away from her. She didn't have that. It was a side-to-side rubbish. So just bringing out the best in the players that they've got have helped. Now, whether that's down to, I will say, look, you know what it's like. The board, the last time we lost a manager, it took us about 6 weeks to find a manager. This time they knew Elena was leaving. They went straight out. They got him. They got their man, and he's in. So fair play to them. Whether they've supported the team enough, clearly we've struggled with squad depth since the summer. So Elena had her hide stand down my back, no doubt about it. Whether that's because they knew they weren't going to give her a new contract, I don't know. But it's put the squad at a huge disadvantage early in the season. And they're playing catch up because of that. So yes, this occasion they did do something right, but they're still answerable for a lot of the stuff that they've not done right. Fan engagement as well, the women's game. Banning fan media. The atmosphere of the grounds going to the games isn't great. There's not a lot of fans going. A lot of issues, with dual, clashing with the men's team. The last few weeks has been a big issue, so you're not getting big crowds, where I think that Grant might have maybe deserved a few more going along because they've started performing better. But you can't, the club aren't promoting it. They're not doing anything to say, look how well this is going now. Get people in.
Karen, can I ask a question? And it's a genuine one because I don't know the answer. Season tickets for the women's game. I watched I don't know whether it was a clip or just something on like Sky Sports News or something like that. And Arsenal, I think, are the leading light in this, and they sell out or as close to sell out their stadium now in the Emirates.
Yeah.
Is that a completely separate? I presume for Arsenal it is completely separate season ticket for both the women's game and the men's game. Is there an overlap in Celtic terms, or how does it work if you want to attend the women's games if you're a season ticket holder at Celtic?
You have to buy a season ticket. There's no overlap.
Completely separate. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the big things that we say that they should be doing to promote people coming along more is like, making it part of the main, the men's season ticket. You look at Glasgow City, see the things that they do to try and get people along. They do packages like for adults and bring as many kids as you want, 20 quid on the day. And they do lots of things, lots of promotions. We do absolutely nothing like that. If they do a game at Celtic Park, you have to pay to go to it. Rather than trying encouraging season tickets to come along, bring their families, see what it's like, engage. I mean, there has been games at Celtic Park where the crowds have been excellent, and the atmosphere has been brilliant, and they've just not built on that. They've just let it drift away because of how they dealt with things last season and this season.
You just done that with the season ticket, Monty. See with the season ticket thing, that actually I'll be very quick on it. I promise. I was thinking about that just over the last week or so. Was if you think back to when season tickets really became a thing, right? And it was obviously that season we had at Hampden, the new stadium was getting built. But when Fergus was there, there's a couple of things. One was you get free bus travel or free transport to the ground as part of your season ticket at the time, right? You get a discount in the food at the stadium. Doesn't matter what you think of the food, but it was a discount. And at the Celtic merchandise, you get, I think it was a 10% discount. So if you've been a season ticket holder, you got benefits. Bit by bit. The current lot have stripped everything out. and there's no added benefit for us sinking in circa £600, £700 a year.
Mhm.
There's none. They've
And-
stripped everything out.
And this is something that, again, when I was kind of dumping my thoughts on the paper, it's the same notion that in the absence of a football identity, as in the style of football you play, I mean, the definition of a club, right? Like, what the fuck's a club? A club, depending, and you can find all sorts of different dictionary definitions for it. But, if you go back to the founding definition of Celtic, a club will be found for the benefit of, the poor people of Glasgow, not verbatim. So a club is essentially a collection of people. It's essentially its entire reason for being, its entire being is its people. In the absence of membership, there is no club. And when you think about how the most successful ones, and again, if I tie it back to Michelin, if I tie it back to Bodo, if I tie it back to us in our prime, if I tie it back even to O'Neill when he came and turned things around first time, if I even look at fucking Motherwell, and that's why I'm laughing because of your tagline, Hector. These clubs have an identity, but at their core is this notion of a club that you actually belong to it. You
Mhm.
feel part of it. And I don't know what the fuck has happened through corporate governance, misgovernance, call it what you want. But exactly what you said, Hector, one by one, bit by bit, they've took
There's
out all
it.
the things that would make you feel identified,
Mhm.
make you have an identity or an affinity with the club. You're just fucking milking it. And I find it astounding. Sorry, I'm on a little bit of a roll there, but I find it astounding that there's no overlap whatsoever between the men's and the women's game, given where the women's game has the potential to go.
100%. And I will say one other thing that they have done is they've done a fantastic facility at Barrowfield. The team are loving it. They've got amazing gym facilities. It sounds like they're doing things with the academy, but you don't really know because they're not communicating with us. They've brought in Paul Brownlee, who did a great job at Motherwell Women, and he's in charge of the academy now. So you'd like for them to come out and communicate what the academy strategy is going to do to help not only the players get into the women's team, but help the players, the young boys, because the boys' academy is based there as well. So that should be getting promoted, but they just don't. They don't do anything to promote what they actually are doing.
But Cam, I would say that's another missed opportunity, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because the built, and it's good stuff what they've done at Barrowfield, albeit there was a long delay as ever with Celtic, right? But the opportunity was there to put circa 2,500 seats there.
Yeah.
And that would have been the home base for the vast majority of Celtic women's team. And I suspect if Celtic ever get to the Champions League again, with the academy teams playing the Champions League thing.
Yeah.
That's what would have taken. Easily done. 2,000 to 2,500 or so seats there. Probably cost another £2, £3, £4 million if you're lucky. And yet again, they did the bare minimum with £70 million in the bank. It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yep.
And no explanation for it because it was in the original plans.
Yeah. Explanations do not compute. Let's be honest. Right. So I want to keep this pod to football matters, and then we'll have a quick follow-up pod on non-football matters. Let's say fans on the board. Ralph, thanks for waiting patiently. I have already asked Monty a quiz question, so I've got a quiz question for you, Ralph, football based. Benjamin Negrin, Ralph. Will he be the first player to ever score over 20 goals in a season and not be nominated for Player of the Year?
The guy is unique in the last maybe 20, 25 years at Celtic. We've had strikers before that have done nothing and popped up and scored goals. This guy has an incredible knack of being in the right place at the right time, and his finishing's getting better, his composure is getting better, and he's getting no recognition whatsoever. If he's not picked in the team, people just kind of shrug their shoulders and say, aye, but we've got Oxlade-Chamberlain or we've got Atati, who's more of a liability than anything. He's kind of an unsung hero. And I'm hoping that his second season turns out to be the kind of... John Walk is the closest I can think of to him. If he could
That big
do
hunge
box to
on
box-
work. That big hunge on
Yeah.
work.
You mean Europe League Cup winning John Walk?
That
Yeah,
Escape to
I think-
Victory starring John Ward. Remember he was in Escape to Victory?
Hey, that's the closest I can think of apart from the defensive work. But
Somebody
that
said to me
guy
Billy
could-
Stark the other week, and I would say I thought Billy Stark actually for the goals, yes, but I thought
Yeah.
Stark he contributed actually a lot though with the ball. That's
But
the
he'd
season.
get a lot more experience in Scottish football with St Mirren,
Aye, but
Aberdeen as well.
I think it's a ghost. I think it's a ghost element of Billy Stark because people just remember him ghosting in at the back post for that goal. I mean, like Negrin does nothing visibly for 89 minutes and then is in the perfect position. I mean, he's like he knows exactly Hector. James Bertawaskau tonight. He knows exactly where to be at that right moment. It's uncanny.
He's
how
the
he can do that.
best. He's the best worst player I've ever seen.
The
I've
other
never
thing
seen a
he's
player.
got-
Sorry, Rich. I've never seen a player like him. I have never seen a player who contributes nothing. Probably the worst player in the pitch, general play. He
Well,
doesn't
see,
track
I
back.
sorry to interrupt you, Hector, but I was
Oh,
at
wait, no.
Celtic Park the day Monty scored that goal, and it was the exact same. It's the exact same.
Hold on. No,
Based
you see,
on him, that makes
you see-
sense.
Have you seen my
You say
heat map
that.
from that particular game? There wasn't a lot of movement, to be fair.
It's just a pimple. It's just a pimple, that heat map of yours. That's what it is. Sorry, Hector.
He doesn't.
Right, no.
He doesn't press. He doesn't work back. He's powder puff. Doesn't compete.
He'll
Doesn't,
go a long
doesn't
way.
challenge. He actually gives the ball away in the rare occasions he gets it. With passes that Messi. Right. I love the fact that he thinks like Messi, but you're no Messi. Don't have a fucking outside of the footer, left foot, 20-yard dink, and a pitching down pitch thinking it's going to land at the striker's feet, but it goes out for a goal kick.
The funny thing about him is, like, you usually get players you either love them or hate them. People don't know whether to love or hate this one person, and individually, that's the problem.
Enigma, Karen. Enigma's the word for him.
But like Sunday, I swear to God, was the perfect example of Benjamin Negrin for anybody watching, especially in the run. Hector, you'd have had a perfect position right up where you're looking down. Like his goal, perfect positioning, right, nods it down. 10 out of 10, execution, placement, perfect positioning, perfect. But there was another bit where Celtic are breaking through and Negrin's got the ball 20, 30 yards out for goal and Celtic are all moving to wait for the ball and he just passes it 30 yards to the left, right at the park. Nobody's there. He just, and not like, as if he was passing it to the police and you're like, who the fuck was that even? There's nobody there. Like, it wasn't as if he just missed a winger. There was nobody there. And you're just going, what?
And he does that. He does that. He puts the hand up as if he's saying sorry to somebody. There's no cunt there to apologise to.
What you need to remember is,
then like people try to say maybe we should play him as a 10. He's not got any pace. You know that way. It's as if we're going to, I actually think he might be the world's perfect five-a-side player. Just put him up front five-a-sides and hit the ball off him. He's getting the right back kind of factor about him. Does he fit into your team? But somehow the ball's hitting off him and getting in the net. And that's all we can do, Monty. That's all we can ask for.
We'd be absolutely fucked without him this season if you think about it. Yeah. We'd be nowhere. And I think it says a lot about, again, I'm kind of banging the drum a wee bit about identity and the system that we play, and we've just got this collection of really fucking mediocre footballers all of a sudden. We went from having a fantastic squad, just mediocrity, and yet Negrin stands above them all with fucking, was he 22 goals already? It's mad to think. I think it's the most damning stat, because my humour's foul at the minute. Like our top scoring centre forward is Iheanacho with 3 goals.
Yeah. We'll start
What the fuck? Where the fuck did that happen?
He's only played 3 games right now.
He nearly got as good a scoring record at Celtic Park as I have. Goal every 2 games.
Let's not forget the swashbuckling Celtic way. Attack. Remember that? Fucking attempts in these hips.
I keep thinking I've woke up in some fucking parallel universe where somebody stole my football team and replaced it with a bunch of fucking
before Ralph comes back in, can I quickly refer Leonard colleague Monty checked out Bums to the previous podcast when you asked us all about the incomings in January, and I said a pile of disgraceful fucking shite. And I do believe young Monty, they went, oh, wait a minute. All these guys, you know, all these. I went, whoa.
I said it wasn't a bad window.
There wasn't one of them bad. The first
It
one
was
we brought in.
It was fucking horrific. It wasn't bad. It was fucking horrific.
Hector, sorry to interrupt you, right? I'll have a quiz. I'm willing to bet a fiver that Monty couldn't tell us who we signed in January. That's what
I'm saying. I woke up in a different podcast. What the fuck? Where am I? I could actually. Here's one for you. Fucking what do you call him?
Exactly.
Not Adamu. Adamu, the other guy.
The guy get 45 minutes and get hooked.
Mbuku or something, isn't it? The winger.
He's not been seen.
The one with the heart problem.
Yeah. 45 minutes. Mark O'Neill said he's adjusting.
He's adjusting. Fucking
hold on. Stop. Whoa. And then he said the next sentence, but I've got no time for any player to adjust.
No, he said he's adjusting his telly when he's sitting in his house. From now until the end of the season.
But isn't it the perfect? Sorry, go on ahead.
I was just going to say, is he the one that we were actually going to pay $3 million for, but then it came up
Yeah.
And it was only because he had a medical issue that we managed to
That's
escape
right.
that disaster.
Yeah.
Fucking
He
insane.
failed his medical, and we sent him home with a couple of paracetamol, and then brought him back in. And
Brought him
we
back in
signed
on
him.
loan.
Yeah.
Right. So talking about football. So I did ping out to the Twitterati to ask them jokingly, is there any topics we can cover? But now that we're on the subject, right? So Gerard, King of Vino, did mention the Benji Enigma scores too many goals to drop, but should there be a change of shape to give him a free role behind the striker, as he can't tackle or track back? Hector, there's a question for you. Do you think we've been stuck in that formation for too long now?
No, but remember, Mon when the first time this season, that is, they come back in, he slightly tweaked it for what Brendan had. And what he did is he actually put your man higher up, almost off the striker. The first time Mon was here, right? And he got the ball quicker forward to the wingers. His first time. However, the horseshoe of death has just come back with a vengeance the last few weeks. So the things that Mon had us doing the first time, getting the ball forward out wide, turning the opposition fullbacks, getting in behind them, we've very rarely seen that this time round. So I'm wondering if that, we'll probably talk about Sunday's game, no doubt. I'm wondering if that's what he's going to try and do on Sunday. And for me, you can have Nygren as a 10 in that system, getting the ball, no fanning about at the back. Your defence is going to make a mistake and get pressed. If you do that, but if you don't do that, he's too weak. You can't go much with him as a normal midfield in a 4-3-3. I mean, my God, we'll get bullied to death if we keep it the horseshoe of death system, him playing that position.
Yeah, we did seem, I may have read it wrong, so please correct me if I did, but we did seem to have a wee bit of the one winger dropping, one winger coming inside last night. Because at one point I thought, are we playing two up front? When I saw like Maeda was quite close to Adamu in the middle, and then I realised Yang was back defending, no, that way, as if they were kind of compensating. One goes and one doesn't, so to speak, rather than just a freeze and leaving big spaces. So it'd be interesting to see if we do. Right, so let's just stick with it before we talk about Sunday and even last night's, let's say, second string. Did they make a big? What impression did they make for Sunday? We'll stick with current performances. Karen, I'll come to you. Timothy Leary asks, Maeda, giving his all/playing within himself, and/or has our change in pressing negated Maeda's talents? So do we think it's Maeda-based issues? Do we think it's Celtic issues? Is it just a clusterfuck of issues that we're not getting the same Maeda for last year?
I think it's
moving on. Thanks for that, guy.
Yeah, I think it's Maeda-based because it just seems to have completely lost any confidence as well. He can't even control the ball properly half the time, and he's just lost his zing for me. You see the odd flash, but I think there's a lack of confidence. I don't know if it's still linked to him not getting his move, but he's not the same player, and I don't know if change the formation whether it would make a difference.
He's like a guy, Karen, who's handed in his notice and he's got a 3-month notice period in his contract.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he knows that he's going to the World Cup, which was his ultimate objective, which I think is why he maybe didn't push so strongly to move in January. Because he's safe there, he's got his place. We'll go to the World Cup. We'll make a few cut off any goals. But
if he goes to the World Cup in that form, he's not going to get any games.
Well, the only thing is, like, so there's two things I would say, Monty. He's playing like a guy who's handing his notice and then realised the job's been pulled away, his new job's been taken away from him. So they've actually phoned him and said, sorry, we don't need you anymore. We've actually had a change of heart. But for Japan, he's seen as a specialist. He's not seen as like the striker. He's not seen as the winger. He's seen as that guy we need for a special 20 minutes.
Special team.
Opponent. He's got a specific. I mean, like this. He's your Paddy McCourt. I know he's. So they just see him as a special standalone target, a standalone talent. It could be his question, but he's got a role, if you know what I mean. Rather than every game, they'll target him for like one game against one opponent, and that'll be that 45 minutes. Right. So moving on. So that's my Ada. Ralph, I'm coming to you for the next one. Is it time to hand the gloves to Sinasalo, or do you wait to the end of the season? Or until the end of the season, Timothy Leary asks.
Last night was the first time in God knows how many games that we didn't actually concede a goal. And that is a case for a prosecution when it comes to Schmeichel. That's it. Done, finished. Let him do his Denmark thing. Get Sinisalo in. He was working with a new defence in front of him as well. And in a previous podcast, I'd given him the benefit of the doubt because he'd got a different defence every time he played. This time he looked like he was in charge of the back line. So, yeah, I would stick with him, definitely. Especially if we put Schmeichel in against that lot on Sunday, we're going to have to score 3 or 4 goals. And we haven't got that in it.
True. A very, very good point. There was a good camera moment. You caught Sinisalo shouting at everybody in a good way, a positive way, basically coordinating. And again, bit of a worry with Murray. I think Murray had a great game considering his previous form for Celtic and the fact that him and Donovan had a nightmare against Hearts. But I'll add, as you just said, the last night's game for Sinisalo, the end of Schmeichel potentially. I tweeted as a joke, Sinisalo has saved low and left. I repeat, Sinisalo has saved low and left. And the reply, there was about 200 replies, and they were all of the joking, is this allowed? Sorcery was really made me laugh. No, I mean, is this against the rules? I mean, you people actually like, so it's like, if we know it, as you say, Ralph, Rangers know it. No, Rangers fucking know. As soon as they get a chat, if Martin O'Neill, sorry, we'll come in Monty for that one. Do you think Martin O'Neill will still go with his favourites, so to speak? He'll go with experience, Monty.
Yeah,
he will. He's going to have to play a Murray. Dane Murray. He's going to have to play Dane Murray at centre half, realistically, over Arthur.
I think Schmeichel starts. I think, like, O'Neill. I think Schmeichel will start. I think.
You think he should, but...
Yeah, if I'm honest, yeah. I know he's not in this sort of vein of form, and he's also at the tail end of his career, but he's the most experienced keeper we have on the books. I think some of the stuff you can put down to him, absolutely. Some of the stuff you can look at from the point of view of us maybe being hypercritical of him, like not to deviate a wee bit from the point, but I can't remember in my lifetime our fans turning on one of our players like that. I can't. And that has to be a contributory. But he's going to Ibrox, so he doesn't have the pressure or the weight of that. Why we're sort of hypercritical of him? Maybe we're holding him just to a higher standard, Desi. When he came in, he was exceptional, the same way Joe Hart was. But yeah, I think he'll start. I think O'Neill has loyalty to the senior players. That's it. I could be totally fucking wrong. But he's going to have a very different looking defence, I guess, in front of him as well on Sunday. If Murray's starting, Murray didn't really handle the pressure of Tynecastle, and it put him back months. I'm just hoping that he's learned from it. We're going to find out.
Like, I thought Murray, I know it was Stuttgart may have been in first 1.5 gears, if not second gear, but the second half they were certainly pushing. Murray had a cracking clearance against Stuttgart, a really great tackle. So I think that would have done him a lot of good. And if they could just say to them, clear your lines, don't even bring the ball out, just punt it to somebody, don't try and be Beckenbauer. Hector, you get something to say.
Just in terms of Casper, Casper doesn't deserve to start. Right? If we're basing it in form, just purely form, know who's your favourite, Desi, you know you love Rio, right? Joking aside, right? But Casper was brilliant last season up until the cup final. But ever since the cup final, when he basically lost as the cup final in a treble, I don't know where the confidences went or whatever, but he's went in a massive downward spiral. And there's shots he's letting in that any keeper at that level should be saving. And it's consistently letting him in. But here's my concern, right? And this is what I think's partly behind it. It's known he's got a shoulder injury. It's publicised. Martin O'Neill's mentioned he's got a shoulder injury. He's had time off to try and get rest and recovery. Dude, keep me right here. If you're a keeper, you maybe get a sore ankle and you can get strapped up, fair enough. If it's your fucking shoulder and you're a goalkeeper, surely to God, that means that there's a risk that any time something in and around you as a keeper, that you're going to struggle with it. So for me, he doesn't deserve to start. It's not to say that if Sinisalo comes in, he'll have a great game. There's no certainties, no guarantees, there's nothing with it. But Casper's shown the last number of weeks, his form's way below what we need. And there's a really strong chance if he starts on Sunday, two things happen. Sinisalo's head and others goes down thinking he didn't deserve his place here. And number two, if Casper continues his vein of form just now, which is really, really poor, there's a strong chance he'll let in a couple of howlers. And there's no way, Ralph's right, there's no way we're scoring 3-4 goals on Sunday. We'll have to grind out a 1-0 there, an absolute push, a 2-1 there to have any chance of winning. We can't go and score 3 and 4 goals. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. You just reminded me there, it's not even this low it's not even low to the left, because now it's low and central left. Pause right at him on the left-hand side again in, rather than at an angle. But you also had that Kilmarnock header, which went out his head, and he went with the wrong arm.
The footwork as well.
It's like that. And for the listeners, I'm trying to bend over.
He's been doing that with the wrong arm for maybe 18 months.
But he's not on his own on that. Come on, lads. That's not. You're picking flaws in him.
Yeah, but the other goalkeepers catch them or hit them.
But no, Ralph. Look at Joe Hart. Would have give you the shits every time the ball was anywhere near his feet. Hart
Listen,
again.
If Joe brings his boots on Sunday and he's
commentating,
then we look at it and name him on the bench.
Yeah, and like I'm far from the goalkeepers union, but we do look at them. We do look at them a bit more hypercritically than we do the people in front of them. Scales just took a fair pelt of his limitations, but yet he's still a starting centre half. You know, Tierney took a full pelt for the best part of the season about him being nowhere near the heights that he was at Arsenal. Yet he's our fucking starting first. You know what I mean? So I think, and I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just kind of giving an alternative perspective. I don't think his form's good enough for him to be in, but I don't think Sinisalo's form is so good that he should replace him. Especially when there's such
form on. He's not many games.
But this is the conundrum. The back four that will be in front of them. Who would you prefer behind such a weak back four?
No, wait, that's a good point. Why would we have to have a back four and why not a back five?
Right, we'll come to that. But again, it's a good question. Let's come to Sunday a little bit later, because there's another few items I want to touch on. But I think last night was a good example of, when I saw the team, I honestly pinged their chat that said gulp, and it was like, you're like, really? Donovan, let's be honest, he got quite a lesson in the first half, booked and took off. Ralston, I thought, actually done quite well. He seemed to be quite solid. But Murray, you assumed the worst with Murray, and I assumed Arthur was going to be a definite starter that Ibrox carried. But I think last night, watching Murray, he kind of staked his claim. Actually, rather than Arthur still never started a professional league game. That boy, I don't know how we managed to get a guy on loan who's never started a professional league game of football. Unbelievable.
And gave Stephen Welsh back to Motherwell instead. For me, it's got to be Dean Murray. That game last night's going to give him so much confidence, and I really hope it's a brilliant game. I was really impressed with him last night. Thought he looked calm the whole game. assured, some brilliant blocks, and some great headers as well for the corner kicks. I thought we defended the corners really well in general. So I would go with them. My surprise about last night was that he didn't go with Murray and Scales before Sunday, because obviously Trusty can't play. So I thought that would have been an ideal opportunity to at least have them play a game.
But then would you dare risk the two of them getting injured? Then you're not at anybody. You know what I mean? That's how bad it is, Karen.
Yeah,
We've only
that's
got three defenders, three central defenders, and one of them never started a professional game in his life. That's how bad it is.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, Desi, about this fucking parallel universe that I'm now in. We went from being really.
No, Monty's actually sporting Casper's hairstyle at the moment, so I didn't realise that there. You're actually modelling your style on him. All you need to do.
He's probably got the same girth at this stage too, does he?
How's your shoulder, Monty?
No, it's fucked. Let's fuck, Karen. Fucked all together. Bottom left every time. It's just this almost. It's almost like we went into borderline insanity for a couple of months when Rodgers left, and then we steadied it, and then we did the Nancy thing, and then we brought O'Neill back, and we didn't back him, and we handed him a fucking kid who hasn't played a professional game on the last day of the window, a winger that we were going to spaff 3 million on, but thankfully caught it in a medical, and we won't lose that. It's almost like they're all pissed, drunk, and in control of the wheel. Like, it's fucking mad to think where we've got to. That said, I would love Dan Murray to have a brilliant game. I would love us to be really solid on Sunday, because Murray, if he doesn't recover from that Tynecastle thing, if he doesn't get a shot at it now, I don't think he's ever going to make it at Celtic.
Yeah, good point. Ralph?
I was just going to say there, when you're talking about, I can imagine at the end of the transfer window, O'Neill sitting down with Maloney and saying, Jesus Christ, look what they've given us. We've got a guy that failed a medical to replace a guy, Balikwisha, that has failed at football. We've got Mavuka that they put him on the park and he looked all right until he got the ball. And then that's him away as well. So effectively we brought in 6-7 players, and the only two that have worked is Irahu, who's doing all right, and to an extent, maybe Van Chara. If he could stay on his feet, he'd be brilliant.
Done well. Sarachi's done well.
No, January's window.
January's
window.
Araujo's done well.
Aye, very well. But yeah, so I just made that note, Ralph, just when Monty was talking there. Along with the main people Monty mentioned, I'd written Balikwisha and Iheanacho. These guys just seem to drift out the squad altogether. And Balikwisha's just
Iheanacho, can he play a ball forward?
But Iheanacho just disappeared. Like people are wondering
not sure which goal he's aiming
Mark
at.
O'Neill, because he didn't even get mentioned in the squad, and they just drifted. And then he turns up in Europe, and you're kind of going, where's the structure of this? Where's the plan? As in, we're bedding them back in, or we're saving them for this game. It's just here, there, and everywhere. It's kind of weird. Right. Before I forget, let's get to the serious questions here. Right. Before I forget, I'll ask Hector this. Hector, Timothy Leary's last question. With John Davidson, and I know you've watched I Swear and really loved that movie, Hector. With John Davidson in the news, which Tim is the most sweary in real life?
Yeah. You can always tell the Glaswegians we've all got a wee bit of Tourette's, haven't we, Desi?
Fuck off.
Especially us EastEnders, we do swear a bit, don't we?
I actually think my East End wife beats you at swearing.
That tells its own story, doesn't it? Really, you know what I mean?
Duke Street. You know what I mean? Duke Street. Right. So, Ralph, maybe you've got another career publishing. Oban Watch did ask us for maybe a nice wee cookery section tonight. Best dishes from our latest European campaign. I know your son's in Europe, Ralph. Have you got any suggestions for recipes before we move on to football items? Right. So let me see where we are, because I did have something that was very interesting here. Let me see. Right. So Hector, come back to you, resident tactician. Sunday's game. Sunday's game, right? So Joe Kelly asks, do you deploy Araujo and Sarachi as inside right / left in front of a back three of Donovan, Scales and Tierney, let Negrin wander around up top? Now
Do you know that is a very, very good question.
Well done, Joe.
Because we can, obviously we can't. We can go there with what we've been doing recently. We can go there with this 4-3-3, and the plan is do the horseshoe and eventually give it to a winger, i.e. Tenecki, and hopefully he does something. Right? That's broadly what appears to be our tactics, if you call it that, in recent weeks, right? But Tenecki's another one that's lightweight, and I just worry that if he starts at Ibrox, that he could just get bullied. But it's not just him, there's a few of them. So we think about that. Another option is 4-4-2, which is really a 4-5-1 with one playing off the striker, right? That's maybe an option as well. But we think about that, the 3-5-2 or the 3-5-1-1. We need a bit of physical presence there, right? The one thing that they have been good at, them and Hearts, I think, is goals from corner kicks and set pieces. I think we need that bit of extra physical presence. So he mentioned Tierney there. I was thinking, would you even think about the three centre-halves that we've got, playing as three centre-halves, right? You mentioned Arthur, who's right-footed, Murray's right-footed, and obviously Scales is left. Could Tierney and Sarachi do as they've been doing and play left wing-back? One starts, plays 60 minutes, one gets the last half hour. Araujo appears like a natural right wing-back on the other side. Would you play Dyson off as a striker, lone striker, for his pace, because he always plays well against the Huns? That's one of the things he does do really well against them. He plays well. So there's options there. I'm just wondering if Martin's going to throw a wee curveball on Sunday. I'm just something's telling me he's going to do it. And I think Joe's question's a really good one. It might be a 3-5-2.
You might need to
Ralph's having a dispute there. Karen, so echoing that, Bob Boy 79 has asked, what team should we field goalie, striker, formation? ? What's your thoughts then? Do you think Martin? No, in fact, we'll leave the Martin curveball to Monty because I'd like to hear his thoughts. What do you think, team-wise, Karen? What would you go with?
I would go with the three at the back. I would go with the 3-5-2. I would go with that, and with Negrin just paying off the striker. But yeah, I would definitely go with 3-5-2. I think that would, and I would play it with the three solid centre backs. I wouldn't necessarily play Tierney there. I would have him as a wing back. Yeah, definitely.
And who's your midfield then?
McGregor.
Who's your midfield five then?
McGregor and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Negrin in front of them, just off the striker.
Mm-hmm. Then two wing backs, and then up front, who we going with, Big Tam? Or do you think Adam?
Yeah, it has to be Big Tam. Although I did think wee Junior did all right the other night. He held off the players pretty well and good link-up play. But the only thing about Big Tam is I'm not convinced by his physicality. Bouchoir absolutely bullied him last week.
Yeah.
So he is a bit, they would need to play it right. See when he played against Stuttgart last week, and he was doing the runs off the Stuttgart defender, and they were getting the ball out to him quick. That worked really well. He looks really good at that when he's getting an early ball to him and he's making a run in behind. But when you're just playing it up to him and he's to hold it up, he's not as good that way.
You see, like we joked before, he does seem to be a bit more of a Samaras than a central striker. And there was a wee bit last night, also against Stuttgart, when he was out in the right wing, and he paused, and there was like two guys coming on him, but he still beat them. The ball ended up going out for a try, but he had the confidence to take guys on the wing rather than try to go through the middle. So, but I thought
that's where he scored. He set up the goal.
Exactly. But I thought Adama actually was quite not overly impressive, but I thought he actually did a lot better than anybody expected him to last night. I thought he did pretty well with that first half. You know what I mean? So Monty, I'll come to you as your resident friend of Martin O'Neill. Do you think Martin's likely to throw a curveball in? Is he a man for curveballs?
I don't think he'll do it on Sunday. I think if he's going to do it, he'll do it at the split if we're still in with a shout. I think Sunday's going to be about
if you can't win it, don't lose it. But he won't set it up to not lose it, if that makes sense, Desi. I don't think.
I know. I hear
I
you.
mean, it's the Huns, right?
Positive
We're
serenity.
shite. We're shite. So are they. So are Hearts. I mean, we're all just of an average level of pish right now, with Motherwell being the only one playing any half decent football. So I don't think he'll give them overly too much respect and go change systems. No, I just don't. I think he'll go with what he has. If we don't get beat, that's all right. We win our game in hand. We're ahead of them, and we're still only 3 points off Hearts. I think we're all in a wee bit of a psychosis at the minute. I think we've all been whipped up into the notion that this is do or die at the weekend. Hearts are picking up injuries, and Hearts will lose points. The Huns are shite. So are we. So somewhere inside that 3 conundrum, one of them is going to be less shite than the other 2 and come out on top. Like 33 points. There's a long, long fucking way here. But
Yeah.
you take a tanking on Sunday, and maybe that's you kind of feeling that you're on the canvas and you're maybe not getting back up. I don't think we'll get beat on Sunday, by the way. I don't think we'll win it
I
either.
said it. Oh,
Okay,
no.
But I don't.
I know, I'm
54 minutes in. Monty fucked it.
No, we're fucked now, aren't we? We're fucked.
No.
All right, Wes, thanks very much. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Okay, you have little faith.
Sorry,
Jeez.
Ralph, Monty, this you said, because I was just about to say, this you mentioned that coming off the canvas, because I was about to say to you, is it maybe just a wee bit that we've caught up twice now and then failed to, like that. Martin O'Neill brought us back up, then Nancy fucked it, and then Martin O'Neill brought us back up, and then we fucked it. Not really. So it's like we're getting exhaustion and fatigue at this point.
We've handicapped O'Neill by 18 fucking points. He was 6 points behind when he came in. He brought us back on level with a game in hand. And Nancy pissed fucking 12 points down the drain before we brought him in again. Like, I've said it in our WhatsApp, if he does it, I fucking need a statue of the man if he manages to turn this around.
Well, Karen's wanting a statue of Brian Wilson first, so let's get our priorities right.
Well, were you one of the 4 Celtic fans that he met down the town, Karen? Were you the other one? We had Ralph and Hector. I thought it's you.
No, it certainly was not me, I'll tell you that for now.
It was Hector and his 3 mates again. It was Hector, Brian, Quinn, fucking Doc Brown, Ralph. Ralph, you were going to say something?
To come back to Sunday. Yeah, right. So you've just been talking about getting back up off the canvas after you've been put down.
Right.
This is where we need to change and maybe fight Southpaw and do something completely unexpected. This is the one that can put a marker down for the rest of the season, which means that we're going to, if it was me, which would probably be a mistake if you were in charge of Celtic, it would be Sinisalo, it would be Tierney, Scales and Murray, with Arujo and Scarachi either side of them. I would have McGregor, Oxley Chamberlain doing the midfield, and I would go with Yang and Taneki up front and tell Benjamin Negron just to hang about and do what he does. That would be it for me. And a 5-3-2, but kind of flexible because you don't know where Negron's going to end up.
No striker.
That's how
So
I
you would go. You would go to Ibrox and play without a striker.
We haven't got any.
Big Tom.
Be realistic. Who have we got?
Adamu. Iheanacho.
We've not got any
Iheanacho cannot play a ball forward.
But he's a centre forward. His job isn't to play a ball forward.
No, he's not a centre forward. It's somebody that Brendan Rodgers used to know in Leicester. That's all. And he says, "What do you do?" He says, "I'm a striker." He says, "Oh, listen, I'm looking for one."
And we've not got 30 million. He's a £30 million previous striker.
30 million wouldn't buy him. Aye, as Tommy Docherty would say. Right? No, he's no striker. He'll never be a striker.
If there was to be a curveball, if there was to be a curveball, that's the one that I would bet.
Well, he wouldn't
that
be
he
on
would
the
start
end.
Iheanacho.
I think.
Oh Jesus!
I would say.
Watching Star Trek then.
But so here's my
Yang Taneki can run and score goals or run at a defence.
He's done it once. He's done it once. Taneki. This is what I was going to come to. You'll get like Yang at least puts a shoulder in, puts a boot in. Taneki's no tackling anybody. and it's going to be a war of attrition on Sunday. They're going to boot us off
All
the
right,
park.
all right. So Balikwisha, that will surprise them. Surprise
Well,
everybody.
That's not a curveball.
I'm
That's not a
fully behind
curveball.
your premise of we need to. And again, the curveball, Hector, I'm fully behind that because Rangers will fully expect that they know what to do. They'll go back to playing it into the channels and putting shoulders in and winning free kicks and winning set pieces and throwing the ball in and hoping it scales and Murray can't handle it. And we'll get wee guys who just turn off and suddenly they'll get loads of chances for, is it Fernandez or whatever, to kind of capitalise. So we know their game, but we have to try and make sure they don't know our game. You know what I mean? You're like, so on you go, Hector.
Right, okay. I'll throw you in the team that I would go. I would go 3-5-2 or just broadly similar based on the players we've got available now, right? Sinisal would start for me. I'd have the 3 centre backs, including Arthur. I'd have my 3 centre backs for the physicality. They're all 6 foot. Skills are small, so it's 6'2". The other 2 guys are 6'4". They're going to pump. They're going to get. Look at the referee, the VAR. Look who's on, right? They're going to get free kick out. So we've got to factor in our thinking here. John Beaton's the referee. Let's no kidding. Let's know apart. Anytime they fall over, which they're masters of doing under roll, they did it at Celtic Park. Beaton will give the free kick as quick as you can get the whistle to his lips, right? So we need physicality. Let's be thinking about that for a second. 3 big centre backs, I think, is a must because we're going to fall after ball into a penalty area, right? My 2 wing backs, I think Tierney would start and Arahu would be on the other side, and they can drop back and use a 5, which we'll need to do a lot of times with defending. 3 in midfield, I think your 2 together would be Calmack and would be Oxlade-Chamberlain kind of together as experience. And it'd be, for me, one of either Nigrin or Rio would be the one in front of them. One of. And probably they 2 would change during the course of the game. I'd have 2 up front. I'd have Big Tam would be starting for me, and have Dyson as a free role. Because you need people who will graft and work, and we can also play a ball in behind them to get them turning. And I know Dyson's not been great. Well, we can all see it, but there's not many have been great. But against them, he puts the fear of God into them. He's just one of these players. They can't handle him. They struggle with him. And if they come up to the halfway line, I think he likes to play a high line at times role quite a lot of the time. Gives us a chance to get the ball in behind and on the counter. So that'd be my team. Do I think it'll happen? No, but that's what I would go with on Sunday.
Ralph?
What you've done there, it's something that they won't expect. And there's something else we could do. Is, you know how when our support goes in, if we give them all a flute and they start to play the sash, the officials will immediately start to march and lose concentration because it's kind of wired into them. And that's when we can take advantage of them.
I was listening to Axe on the day. And apparently, I could be misquoting it, but it's something like, we have not lost when John Beaton's refereed an Old Firm game. There's that quote for about 6 years, for 5 or 6 years. So Beaton is no real lucky charm.
Oh, you've done it
now. You've done it. Now you've done it. Now you've gone and done it. Why did you not? Now you've done it.
Make you feel better there, Monty. I was going to say, Stephen McLean on VAR, he might be the fucking lucky charm.
No, it's not that. It's because those games didn't matter. This one does. That's the difference. It's kind of been saving up his mistakes.
I know I'm probably going over old ground.
Carry on, Casper.
But it's just 3 points. It's just 3 points. There'll be 30 more to go after it. And the biggest, we talked about this reinvention of the Huns, this resurrection from the putrid fucking stench of their goneness. It's just another 3 points. I would be more worried if we were facing Motherwell on Sunday. Seriously. Because after Stuttgart at Energy Sap in fucking Thursday night, even if it was the second string, Motherwell are playing the best football across a country mile. And I know Hector's a big fan.
Monty, if we lose on Sunday, the league's gone.
It's not, Hector.
Yes, it is.
If we lose on Sunday, we will have a game in hand on them, and they would be 2 points ahead of us with 30 to go.
Psychologically, we're gone. We're finished. We're gone.
That's where O'Neill's. That's where I believe O'Neill makes a difference. They have never ran this race. O'Neill has ran it multiple times.
The quality he had 25 years ago.
Oh, but are you telling me
It's
Steve
not
Guppy and
the
fucking
forward on
Didier
Sunday.
Gath were European top quality?
They were
Bobby
periphery
Pettis?
players. You didn't mention Henrik Larsson, Chris Sutton, John Hart's, Neil Lennon, Paul Lambert. You
Yeah,
didn't mention any of them,
But-
right?
but-
We've not
but-
got anybody
we're-
like that. No, you're no apples with apples here. You're
But we
apples with a
haven't-
fucking
but-
dry. You're apples with a dried up plum that's fucking
But
withered away. in
we
the sun for
haven't
about
had
3
that
months.
we haven't had that quality since that era. But did you still did Ange's team have 5 of those? The fuck.
It's better than we've got now.
Yeah, but everything's relative. Everything's fucking relative. They
And
are
we're shite. We're
terrible.
shite. You honestly think we'll win 10 games or 9 games out of 10 if we lose on Sunday? Seriously?
No, I don't think we'll win 9 games out of 10, but I think we'll maybe win 7.
And you think that'll win the league?
I think it could because they're every bit as bad as us.
Martin
and hard to
O'Neill's
watch.
birthday on Sunday.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
His birthday on Sunday?
It is. Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, we'll look to wrap this up. Right, so quick question to you, Karen. This you were mentioning, and I think everybody's a general assumption that it's going to be Cal Mack and Oxlade-Chamberlain in midfield. It's very doubtful Oxlade-Chamberlain's going to last 90 minutes, maybe 70 at the most, I would say. Who do you bring on to replace him? Who do you think they'll be bringing on to replace him? Do you think Luke McCowan done enough last night?
He did well, but he did well out in the right more so.
That's
So I mean, you're really just looking at Hatate, aren't you, at the moment? Can he give us a good 30 minutes?
No,
Don't
he's a
know.
liability.
Yeah.
Has Bernardo just completely checked out of the
I've
building?
said about people on this podcast, I know.
Yeah, and Bernardo, you're right, Monty. Bernardo has, I don't know what's happened to him this season.
Fucking unreal.
It's so disappointing.
Like that's genuine talent, you know, that looked like he had it all there. Then Engels gets injured, you have it, go grab it, and either he's incapable of it or there's some block there that he just can't.
He got his haircut and it all went tits up.
I
mean,
he needs to do a brown.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. Right, see if I did have any last questions before we go to forecasts. So that was Mick. NCC Mick was asking, do we think anyone has played their way into the starting 11, or at least the squad? I think McCowan's got a good chance of coming on because I think he did provide a bit of energy last night. Nice to see a Celtic midfielder other than Benji. I don't even know if he is a midfielder making into the opponent's box. I mean, when was the last time we saw somebody actually running onto a ball inside the box? I mean, it's been so long.
Look, McCowan last night.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. But other than him last night, it was nice. It was nice to see it again, wasn't it? Other than that,
I bet he got a forward pass. It's quite unique nowadays.
Well, yes. I think it was Alan at Sell It By Numbers had posted that Callum McGregor's forward pass rate is now down at 10% of all his passes go forward.
Jesus.
That's how low it is. You know what I mean? He's just playing.
He's your pivot. Like he's your fucking deep line pivot.
Yeah. So, right, okay, we're going to wrap this up football-wise. Make it a football-only pod. Let's go prediction-wise. Let's start with Ralph. Ralph, what's your prediction? In fact, what's your prediction, Ralph, for these next away games? We'll get Rangers away, Aberdeen away, Rangers away in the Cup. What's your prediction, Ralph? And what would you satisfied is a bad word or happy is a bad word? What would you be able to sleep with at night? Put it that way. A draw on Sunday, a win in Pittodrie, and then an extra win? Or would you happily get the Cup if you could beat them this Sunday in the league? Ralph?
No, I would only be happy if we're still fighting for 2 trophies at the end of the Cup game.
Okay, so what's your prediction for Sunday then?
For me, that's it. But you lose one. If we throw if we throw a curveball, if we do something different, if we take the game to them, we can easily beat them. Because, like Monty said earlier, there's nothing to them. They just think there's something to them. And I think if we can do that, that'll be a springboard for a couple more positive results. But we need to believe in ourselves. And just now, we don't look like a team that believes in itself.
I think that you mentioned something there.
So, yeah, we'll win.
I think we've been looking at every game, every next game to be the springboard. Every next game we're turning the corner. Every next game, and we kind of get to the edge, and then whatever happens, we end up having to start again. So what are you saying? Sorry, did you say a 2-0 win there? Ralph, what's your prediction for Sunday?
No. 3-2, but I'm just not sure who to.
Okay, well, fair enough. Okay, so Pittodrie.
I would like it to be us, but
a quick shout
yeah.
for Pittodrie. What do you think? Top of your head for Pittodrie next week?
1-0. 1-0 to us.
All right, okay, and then the cup back at Ibrox with 7,000
We don't
Celtic
score many
fans.
goals. I'm hoping we'll tidy the
7,000 Celtic fans at Ibrox.
A lot of that depends on what happens. Oh, extra time. Definitely extra time.
Right, so,
maybe even penalties. Because
so
if we actually get right together, they'll play for that.
Okay, so 3-2, 1-0 and penalties. Right, okay, Hector, we'll come to you. What do you think? Sunday, first of all.
Draw on Sunday.
Oh, but I haven't said that. I did say we'd score early last night.
Right, Ralph, fuck up. You've spoken enough. But draw on Sunday, 1 each. I think we'll beat Aberdeen because they're worse than us. We'll beat them, maybe 1 or 2 goals. Then Ralph's right. I think the cup game will be extra time. And I don't know. Extra time. Flip of the coin. Extra time. So I think we'll take 4 points at the next 2 league games. And I don't know in the cup.
Would you be happy with that? Would you be happy with that?
I would take it right now if you gave me it. Yeah,
fair enough. Okay, Karen, what about you?
Yeah, 1 each for me. On Sunday, we'll beat Aberdeen 1-0 and we'll do it in 90 minutes in the cup. We'll beat them 2-1.
Okay, very optimistic, I must say. Okay, Monty, we get some realism coming my way, or are you still in the optimism cloud?
No, I think we'll get a draw on Sunday. I think we'll possibly be very lucky, but we'll get a draw. I think we'll struggle, but we'll beat Aberdeen. We'll get over the line. And I think the cup match will be the turning point. I think the cup match is when we've turned the corner, and whatever's going to fall from that will fall. Because it's going to be the first time this season, notwithstanding to our earlier conversation, how they've stripped everything away from you being part of a club, because they're now gouging 45 quid, I think, for a kid's ticket for that game.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first time in a long, long time that we've had our backs to the wall, but had a big support base behind us, especially over there. And I just think everything's lined up now. Ironically, I would say that the Motherwell match after is the key, but I do think the cup match is when we turn the corner. So 4 points, Desi, and I don't care actually in what shape or form we would pick up the 4 points, whether it's the other way about. Don't really matter. But I think the cup game is when O'Neill will play his card, if indeed he has a card to play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think we'll beat them. Same as Karen, I think we'll beat them in normal time. And I think that's when we make a statement. That's when we're ready.
Interesting. You just reminded me there, before I come to me, you just reminded me there. Hector, did you manage at all to catch Martin O'Neill's press conference? Because the only thing I noticed earlier was Danny Rowe seemed to be on a roll, let's say, having a wee go at Celtic.
I did. And what happened was Celtic, I didn't know this till I watched the conference. Celtic stayed overnight in Stuttgart last night. Usually they fly home after the game, but they didn't. So Martin had basically just arrived at Glasgow Airport, came to do his press conference. The Rangers one must have been late in the morning. So they put some questions to Roll. One was Luke McCowan saying that we know if we play our best, we're the best team. McCowan maybe should choose his words. He might believe that, which is great. You want belief, but, publicly just play the game. We know that. That was put to Roll, and he went, well, hold on a minute. We are ahead of Celtic right now. It isn't a condescending, arrogant way.
They've been beat 7 or 8 times this season.
And he said that. But then what he did was he took it a wee bit further. He started talking about our goalkeepers and stuff like that. So Martin was getting fed that by the media, looking for a headline, and he looked severely pissed off. So, know that he needed much more fire going to Ibrox for the first time in 20 odd years. I just wonder if Rolls just picked a fight with the wrong person, and it might just use that curveball. Monty, telling you, I can see something happening on Sunday with a curveball. He's angry, and you can see he was angry at the conference. That doesn't happen very often.
That's my point. That's my point, Hector. He's been in this race many times. For Roll, this is his first one. For McGuinness, it's his first one. And, one of the three of them is going to come out on top of it, but I wouldn't bet against O'Neill. And as I said, because of the distance left, if this was into the split and we were in this fucking shambles, I wouldn't have this sense that, I think we can do it. I just wouldn't, even if we were to get beat. Just where we are, because of how long's left to go and because O'Neill has done this multiple times. Just give us that little bit of it.
Desi, you're always the optimist amongst the five. What's your predictions for
Yeah,
next few games?
There's a few interesting factors, I think. I think interesting. Last night was very interesting, whereas I didn't have any hope. I didn't have any hopes whatsoever for last night. And then I happened to heard that this is likely to be Martin O'Neill's last European game for Celtic. And then Celtic team good, and you could see they were full of fight and full of, let's be honest, they had a lot more energy than we've saw from them recently. So I thought, well, there's a wee bit of fire in the belly there, so that's maybe good. They're fired up. Martin O'Neill's last European game. This week's going to be his last league game and last cup game against Rangers. You know what I mean? So there's that wee factor. One of the other factors is we took a lead against them last time with Yang's super goal. And then Nancy, Wilfred Nancy was in charge at the time. So chances are if you swap Nancy for Martin O'Neill at that point of 1-1-0, we'd have probably won 1-0 that game. I mean, that's the kind of thing, like the midfield wouldn't have been allowed to disappear. So I think it is really interesting. I think personally, Sunday's going to be free each. I think it's just going to be madness in this. So the two defences will be all over the place. Because they're a bad lot, we're a bad lot, and I think the goals will just fly in. I've honestly think
goals? Celtic score 3 goals?
Yeah, I'm not saying we'll score them, but we'll have 3 goals. You know what I mean? Fernandez might score 2 for his. Tavernier might get his one. But I'll go for
McLean will certainly disallow them, Desi. We can be sure of that.
A high scoring draw, but for some reason, I will be betting Dyson Maeda to score the first goal. I've just got a feeling, come the hour, come the man, there's a chance he could finally find that form that we're so desperate for him to find. And if we put him pressing against Butland, then there's a chance he could maybe just get in front of somebody. So I'm hopefully best. Aberdeen, I would love us to fucking gub them because I hate their temporary manager, that guy who would love to destroy Celtic. So I've been quite I'm not against Aberdeen as a club or a place. My daughter used to live there. Nice place and all that. But him being in charge, Levine or whatever his name is, I just love him.
There's something very Epstein files about him, isn't there?
I just love us to go up there and gub him. Gub that team. I think Tony Docherty's there.
You're fucking creep.
He's a good salesman. Man. It's a shame, but well, I'd love us to gub them. And then the cup, I'll be brutally honest, couldn't care less. As long if we could get a win, I would take a win on Sunday and sacrifice the cup.
But you've not said that. You've said
no, I'm just saying so come the cup. So we're going to cover it. So we'll be touching on what Monty said, the roll thing. So if we were to manage to get any semblance of a result, and that includes a draw, whereby we're the better team on Sunday, that will totally deflate them. I mean, they've got a sense of superiority, which we all know is totally based on a false premise that they're a good team. They're not a fucking good team. We watched them and we know they're not a good team. So if we could actually have some sort of confidence playing against them, the fact that we've been right the last couple of years against them, we've got to overcome that and then step up. But I would say next week, I'll go for 1 each in the cup and we get extra time. We get put out of the cup. I'll be negative and say we'll get put out of the cup. But I think we can come away from Ibrox. If we come away from Ibrox with a defeat on Sunday, then it's all to play for, Monty. I'm fully behind you. It's all to play for. And we can find momentum. And I don't think the cup would interrupt the momentum.
I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying if we get beaten Sunday, I think we're done in the league.
Aye, but I think
we'll draw on Sunday. So I'm not saying I think we'll be okay.
So I'll go for that. Go for a high scoring draw. So yeah, so there we are, folks. This is where we are. I think there's not many people predicting a Celtic victory on Sunday, but if we can play with the fire and desire and even the backs to the wall attitude that we had against Stuttgart, I mean, some defenders win your league, strikers win your games. We've not got any strikers, Ralph, so we might need the defenders just to do that for us. Negrin can score a goal off his arse and we can hold on. Scales and Murray can have a games of their life. And then I think the subs will be important. They'll have to come on and make an impact because we've not had many subs making an impact, bar maybe your Oxley Chamberlain goal the other time. And damn it, on that, there we go. bringing it back to where we started, Hector, maybe we'll get a last-minute goal to really fucking annoy them. Adamu comes on and scores a last-minute back healer into the bottom corner. And
But you
John
see, that's where
trying to fucking disqualify it.
that's where VAR's vital, you see, Desi. That's where
Right,
Mr.
okay, so
McLean's
wait,
vital.
See,
last question before we wrap up.
and that's how I know that
Yeah,
I fucking punted into a parallel
Right,
universe.
Right,
We're
so
pitching
what's
Junior
your
Adamu for a
recommendation?
last-minute winner at Ibrox.
Right,
Holy
okay, well,
fuck.
we're in the houses. A quick off the top of your head. What's your recommendation? Start with you, Ralph, in the bottom corner. What's your recommendation for the controversial VAR moment? What do you think it will be centred around?
John Beaton own goal chalked off. Last minute,
Aye,
that
John
would have
Beaton.
given us a 1-0 win. It'll be chalked off.
Right, okay, I'll quickly go to mine. I've got a strong feeling Martin O'Neill's getting sent off on Sunday. Right, I'll go with that. The fourth officials have went ultra mental PE teacher this season. They're in people's faces and all that. And I've got a feeling Martin O'Neill. So I'm going to say Martin O'Neill gets sent off. That's my controversial referee moment. Monty, what about you? What do you think?
They'll disallow what on the face of it will look like a very borderline Rangers goal.
Oh, so positivity for Celtic VAR. Is that when Rangers are leading or Rangers are drawing or Rangers are getting beat? But
It's when they're leading and it seems like somehow it won't matter, and then we sucker punch them.
well, Ralph always did say, like, watch for all of the opponents getting yellow cards in the last 10 minutes when it doesn't matter against Rangers. Remember that? Karen, what about you? What's your prediction for a controversial referee moment?
Scale sent off for denying a clear goal scoring opportunity
In
when
the
the ball
tunnel.
going away from goals.
In the warm-up.
on the coach, on the bus. Okay, Hector, I'll leave it to you. Resident tactician James Bertal, ask you, what do you think?
I think sometimes the obvious answer is just staring us on the face. I think VAR will intervene and award a surprise, a Rangers penalty. I think it's a certainty on Sunday.
Are we going to get one of those ultra popular denial of a goal scoring opportunity from inside the tunnel? No doubt. That's how bad it's getting.
It'll be one like, see the one that Scales didn't get last Sunday. It won't be as bad as that. It'll be a slight tug in the shirt, and it'll be right VAR. I think they'll get that. We'll be winning 1-0 at the time. That'll make it one each.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go, folks. You've had goal predictions, you've had referee predictions, and we've had even cup predictions. So we'll see how we go on. So thank you very much to everyone for listening. Best of luck to Monty and PJ. This left for me to say thank you in this special football dedicated podcast to Monty C. Burns. Thank you, Monty.
Thanks, guys. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you to Ralph Mal. Thank you, Ralph.
Cheers, enjoyed that.
I think Ralph's on the delay. It's taking about 5 minutes to say. Okay, thank you to Jens Bertal Askau. Thank you, Jens.
I've had a wonderful time here with you guys. I'm now Dutch.
And that was Sean Connery as Jens Bertal Askau, folks. And last but not least, thank you, Karen. Karen, moderately, potentially happy Celtic lass.
Well, we'll see you on Sunday.
Okay. So thank you, Karen.
No, thanks, guys. Great chat. Enjoyed that.
Thank you. All right, and my name's Desmond, folks. Thanks very much for listening. Good night.
Big Tams of the Gallowgate are proud to sponsor the E-Tims podcast for season 25-26. Do you fancy a game this Sunday? Can you play center half or be a strong midfielder? Can you work out where Benji's going to be when we need a goal? Join now. Big Tams, getting points at Ibrox since 1972.